It was a clown show. It was an absolute clown show. Let's talk about this, eh? This is my instant reaction. Places are probably going to change after the race. There are probably going to be penalties between me recording this and the review actually coming out. But let's talk about the Qatar Grand Prix because, oh boy. I mean, one thing that we can say is it's a deserved win for the deserved champion. Max Verstappen had a champion's drive today. I mean, the one-place grid penalty seemed a bit of a mess. I mean, I would understand it being 3. I saw Jenny Galpin both going because they were both on fast laps. It wasn't 3, but that's why it was 1 place. But it just seemed petty. I know it wasn't. I know it's by the book, and I know that convention is usually 3. But to give it just 1 makes it seem petty. I mean, it just set up what the rest of this weekend was in terms of stuff with penalty. You can't really accuse it being British bias when we had a drive-through penalty and a stop-go 10 for the 2 biggest British drivers on the grid. You can't just go, oh, that means it's British bias, because they got frankly absurd penalties, frankly deserved penalties in a way. Lewis Hamilton's one certainly deserved. Lando Norris' one, I don't know. Like, I have to see a lot more about it. Speeding under a yellow flag, yep, that's a no-no. Wasn't VSC. It probably was double yellows, but it's just... The race direction was something else today. I mean, the whole thing was an absolute clown show. We had this debris debacle. We had all the crashes as well. And let's talk about that now instead. Because Colapinto was out the first corner, and I mean, I've got my end of season reviews coming in with like my top 100 drivers. I was thinking of including Colapinto in that, and when I saw that he crashed the first corner, I was like, oh, I might need to readjust this stuff. But then I saw that he had the crash because Hulkenberg got loose and hit Ocon, who hit Colapinto, and oh my god, that was, yeah, something. Lance Stroll doing what could be best described by half of the F1 community as Lance Stroll things was also unsurprising. But then the other retirements that we have, Sergio Perez, yeah, I don't know, Hulkenberg getting stuck as well, just... It just seemed bizarre. It seemed like a clown show. The amount of drivers who ran off the track, the crash catastrophes, it's... yeah. It's a clown show that overshadowed what otherwise has been quite a fun weekend. Because look, the Red Bull, I would argue, was the best car around Losail. And you can see that by the fact that Perez was actually in some kind of form and made it through to Q3. Which sounds weird to say, and it sounds very mean on Checo, but the guy hasn't made Q3 all that often, at least in the last run of races. So it is a big deal that he made it through to the third part of qualifying. I think he ended up beating Lewis in qualifying. I know Lewis has been struggling before he has to retire the car in the race, for Christ's sake, but it was undoubtedly the best car, and Max Verstappen made the most of that, winning by 6 seconds. He was very much clear of Lando Norris, able to hold him off even when Norris had the advantage. Granted, he didn't win the sprint, that was a McLaren 1-2, and Norris handed the sprint win to Piastri, whether or not that was a thing to say thank you for Sao Paulo, or to help Piastri in trying to clear Carlos Sainz to the Drivers' Championship, which he's doing a little bit more, even though McLaren's lead of the Constructors' Championships diminished thanks to Norris's needless penalty. It's been a good weekend to watch. You look at the top 5, and the top 5 are different teams. Gasly managed to get a top 5 because even though we had such high speeds, he didn't manage to have the Alpine Renault engine detonate on him again, which sounds bizarre to say, but yeah, he drove so fast, the car self-destructed last weekend. It's even overshadowing the fact that, yeah, Alonso got 7th, Zhou Guanyu got 8th, Sauber got 8th, Sauber got points in this race. It was very nearly a double, but it gives you another reason to have problems with Lando Norris. He denied Valtteri Bottas a chance to get points in what could have been his penultimate race in Formula 1. The race had a whole thing called Valtteri Bottas Sympathy Corner, and I feel like this is just another addition to it. Like, it could have been double points for Sauber, which would have been an excellent end to that story. Instead, it's even more points for Alpine, which is good for their story, because I think coming into this race, they were a handful of points off of Haas, and this has well and truly put them clear of them, whilst RB have had another disassembly of their run. Lawson span, Tsunoda had rubbish form. Yeah, and then I think the only driver that I haven't really talked about that's that was classified at the end of this was Alex Albon, who just had, again, a bit of a nightmare race. It wasn't a great one for Williams this weekend. But anyways, yeah. What else is there to say? I think one thing that we can say, however, and this is a bit of a side note because I've been talking about the F1, is congratulations to Abby Pulling for becoming the F1 Academy champion. She's been dominant this season. She's been in great form. I think she topped the women's test in Formula E as well. She has such a bright future ahead of her. I really want to see her on the grid. I really want to see her do testing in F1, and I hope that Alpine will give her those opportunities because she's such a great talent and she's got such a bright future. I just want to see her be able to realise that in a sport where cash is king. Maybe there's some nice benevolent sponsor out there that will give her the funding to get into competitive rides in the next steps up the single-seated ladder. But let me know your thoughts and feelings about this whole weekend in the comment section down below. I've barely had a chance to look at F2, which itself seemed to be quite a mess. But hey, only 1 week left, and it's the end of all of this for another 3 or 4 months. Thanks for watching, folks. Until next time, it's bye for now.